As the clock strikes midnight in just over 10 seconds, our government is shutting down.
As the shutdown begins, the first question is simple. Who gets the blame and who pays the price?
That is because Congress could not agree on a spending bill.
Chuck Schumer is scared of his radical left-wing base.
But without getting paid. I just want to say that one more time. Can you imagine if your boss tomorrow was like, yeah, absolutely come to work and no one's paying you?
And on Capitol Hill, senators left after those two votes late afternoon, early evening. And I think that really underscores the fact that the two sides here just simply aren't talking. Negotiations are not happening because Democrats and Republicans are so entirely dug in. Now, look, we could see some movement tomorrow. That's the next time the Senate is set to vote, or rather, I should say today now, since we are on October 1st and the government is officially shut down. At 11 a.m., the Senate's going to hold another two votes, both on that Democratic crafted spending bill and that Republican crafted spending bill. Though these are the two pieces of legislation that failed to advance yesterday.
Activist groups has walked his Democrat colleagues into a boxed canyon.
Today marks day one of the Schumer shutdown.
Chuck Schumer is scared of his radical left-wing base. That's why we're in the Schumer shutdown.
The ball is literally in Chuck Schumer's court.
Republicans brand it the Schumer shutdown, while Democrats insist both sides are dug in.
So Democrats are going to be all over the TV wires, all over the districts, protesting, all over the social media.
Well, I'm going to have a little bit of a contrary opinion than I think most people have had. I think Donald Trump wants a shutdown. I think he said there are good things that can come from a shutdown. I think he is planning to cut a lot of jobs, not just furlough people. I think he's planning on firing people. And you can say that he would do that anyway, but I think he's using this as an excuse, and they're going to get what they want out of this. They're going to cut the programs. They're going to cut people and fire people. Right now, he's got the courts backing him up to do that. And then they will do something to come to the table with the Democrats on Medicaid and on the subsidies. That's how I think this ends. I think Democrats end up getting a fair amount of what they want once Donald Trump slashes the government once again.
And it was perceived weakness on his part back in March when Schumer joined Republicans to fund the government.
Others frame it as political optics. After a perceived weak moment in March, Schumer now faces pressure to look tough.
Many Democrats went on the attack.
I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal. And this is not just about progressive Democrats. This is across the board, the entire party.
I believe that Senator Schumer probably did what he thought was best, but I don't think that it met the moment.
The idea that Chuck Schumer is the only one that's got a brain in the room and the only one that can think through all of the pros and cons is absolutely ridiculous.
Place right now. Is he bending to the far left in your party? What's happening?
I think in March, had he capitulated to a shutdown, he would have been bending. I thought the examples of the members who were upset with him were very interesting because they do represent that progressive far left base. But I think Nancy Pelosi hit it on the head when she talked about it in March. She said you gave away a lot for nothing. And so what he showed in March was a lack of strategy. And what we've seen from Jeffries and Schumer is a lot of criticism since then. And so now he really has to operate from a place of strength and not hope.
The government shutdown. Now, I don't know what Democrats will say, but there will be attention paid to the sort of things that are being funded, like this Argentina bailout that are not being affected by the shutdown. But the Democratic starting position is basically
I want to press pause because I want you to explain that to our audience. So again, in the last 4 days, something that very few people would have ever expected would happen, the United States government, led by our Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, has proposed a $20 billion bailout for Argentina.
Another says Democrats are embracing it despite political perils. And focus now, Tiffany Smiley, former Senate candidate and Endeavor PAC founder, and Yemisi Egbewale, former Biden press office chief of staff. Look, I call him stuck Schumer. By a shutdown, it allows him to show a little fight.
I see what you're saying, Chris, but, I think that's something for us to really set the record straight here on.
But the policy stakes are real. At the center of this standoff are Affordable Care Act subsidies, lifelines for millions of families.
This is not a fight over tax credits. This is a fight over your ability to go to a pharmacy and afford your insulin. We're not talking about just 15 or 20% increases in people's premiums. Tomorrow, healthcare companies, and today, healthcare companies are finalizing the premiums that everyday Americans are going to be paying. And we are talking about a doubling of monthly healthcare premiums, not even including your deductible, in terms of what people are going to be paying next year because of $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts that were put together earlier this year.
Health insurance subsidies. Back in 2021, the Biden administration passed a COVID relief bill that, among many other things, expanded access to health care plans under the Affordable Care Act and provided tax credits to make health care premiums more affordable for tens of millions of Americans. Right now, about 22 million Americans rely on those subsidies, but they are set to disappear at the end of the year if Congress doesn't act. Now, that would mean insurance premiums for tens of millions of Americans could skyrocket. For a lot of American families, that's not just painful, it's untenable. They can't afford it. And the Congressional Budget Office even estimates that without those subsidies, more than 4 million Americans would lose their insurance in the next decade.
Brain right now, it's a sweetener. It is $1.5 trillion in spending for 7-week CR. That's what Democrats want. It's like a bribe.
Health care for illegals.
One side calls subsidies essential. The other dismisses them as a bribe tied to a far left wish list.
Not only that, but also sort of undoing the historic tax breaks that President Trump got through. So I think there's a lot to be questioned. I don't think Schumer's operating from a place of strength. We know that Chuck Schumer is coordinating with the far left side of his base.
Yep, Joe, you were right on the money. It's a total, absolute effing lie.
And Schumer fires back, calling that narrative a flat-out lie, accusing opponents of hiding the cost of their own cuts.
And why are they doing it? You talked about clicks and emotion. That's some of the reason, but I'll tell you the real reason. They're afraid of the truth. They know that what they've done to health care has decimated health care for so much of America, 20 million of Americans. And so they're trying to hide the truth.
Is there a way to negotiate some of...
Still, some moderates suggest a short-term fix, extending subsidies for a year to keep coverage in place.
this, though, outside of getting the government to open back up and just letting it stay open and through November? Like, can they get...
If they're realistic,
Yeah, well,
if they want to be realistic and fight for the American people, I think.
There are moderate Republicans that want to extend the subsidies at least for another year. I mean, I think it costs more
Chuck
to
Schumer
take away
floated
access.
7 to 10 days just to patch up where they are right now. He may still lack that vision, you say, that the left needs. Let's bring this in. Some Republicans have a sneaking suspicion that there's another reason Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer flipped his script since March. Watch.
There is one reason, and one reason alone, that Chuck Schumer is leading the Democrats off this cliff. He is trying to get political cover from the far left corner of his base. He's afraid of a challenge for his Senate seat by AOC.
He's worried he's going to get a primary challenge from AOC.
He is afraid of AOC over a clean CR.
And to also protect everyday Americans' ability to afford their health care, to cover their kids, to defend Medicaid. Those are the same mechanisms that we use to defend our rule of law, to defend the federal workers that we are trying to protect in this shutdown.
Through their far left radical ideals.
So is this shutdown really leverage or just collateral damage for ordinary Americans? It depends on which narrative you believe.
We're seeing it on full display. So they need to be realistic. President Trump has applauded Senator Fetterman in Pennsylvania for his vote.
That's right.
And we need more Democrats to jump on board if they want to have a shot to win.
Thank you for listening to Raw Nation Report. If you like what you heard, click the like and subscribe button.